Fighters that might be on the chopping block after UFC London yesterday or last night, whichever. And there's a few of them. Let's jump right into it. First, we're talking about Bryan Barberena. Bryan Barberena will always have fun fights, but the issue he will always have is against grapplers. He made the fight with Muradov last night fun, but he couldn't stop the takedown to save his life. 3 losses now in a row. And the issue is, to me, is he's 34 years old and moving up a weight class. And he, again, showed how good his chin is, but he did get hurt. He did get dropped a couple of times. And again, 3 losses: RDA, Gunnar Nelson, and Muradov. Muradov lesser than Gunnar Nelson, RDA, but Muradov is still good. Losing to Jason Witt was the real big loss to me, because Jason Witt's not good. Actually retired because his chin just wasn't good. Definitely had some good victories coming into UFC, finishing Joe Ellenberger, losing to Chad Laprise, which was 8 years ago at this point, beating Sage Northcutt, Warley Alves, Joe Proctor, Jake Ellenberger, giving everything he could to Vicente Luque, coming back too soon against Randy Brown. Did fight Leon Edwards and actually hurt Leon Edwards in that fight really bad with an uppercut. So he's always in good fights. Him being in good fights is never the issue. It's just at 34 years old, 3-fight losing streak, 3-fight losing streak, and your Achilles heel being grapplers. It doesn't seem like you're not going to win a fight unless it's a striker, which is fun, but at 34 years old, there's just no room. 18-11 overall is a record. Always root for Bryan Barberena. He's always fun, but probably on the chopping block. And then next, honestly, is Danny Roberts. Danny Roberts has to be on the chopping block. At 18-8, 3 losses in a row, and at 36 years old, couldn't even win in London, which actually sucks because Danny Roberts looked really good in that first round and then just decided to brawl, as his corner was telling him, do not brawl. And that's exactly what he does. 5 out of his 8 losses are TKO or KO. He's lost twice by submission and once by decision. He's now 7-7 in the UFC. It's crazy because if you take the 3-fight losing streak that he's on now, he was 7-4 in the UFC. That seems crazy to me, to be honest. Losing to Michel Pereira by flying knee, losing to Claudio Silva by armbar in the 3rd, losing to Nordine Taleb very quickly in the first round, losing to Mike Perry as well. It just seems like so long ago that he was on a 2-fight winning streak. He was 12-1 or 13-1 going against Mike Perry. It seems so freaking long ago. Again, looked pretty dang good in that first round, and then his IQ just is what really lost him this fight. And losing to Johnny Parsons is bad. Johnny Parsons looked good last night, but losing to Jack, okay. Losing to Francisco Trinaldo by decision in a close fight, okay. But losing to Johnny Parsons the way he did at home, couldn't even keep his composure there, probably puts Danny Roberts at the top of that list. It's a rough one. It's a rough one. And the next is Jai Herbert. Jai Herbert at 12-5-1 came in the UFC very promising, have a lot of hype. Coming in the UFC at 10-1, losing to Ronaldo, losing to Marcano, beating Conor Worthy, finally got that win in the UFC, and then losing to Topuria, which was a short notice replacement, I believe. Looked good against Ilir Topuria. I think it was supposed to be Mike Davis. Yeah, and he fought Topuria instead. Looked good against Topuria early, and then Topuria does what Topuria does and got him out of there. He did get a win against Kyle Nelson, went to a draw with Ludovic Klein, which he looked pretty dang good in. And then 2 strikers that aren't wrestlers or grapplers decided to grapple. Rough. Honestly, Fares Siam is probably on this list too, because he didn't look very great, and I wouldn't be surprised if they cut him. Not that they probably would, but Jai Herbert and his age, 35 years old is rough at 155. It's just rough. And then next is Molly McCann. Molly McCann has to be on this list at 13-6, and her Achilles heel is submissions, grappling, even if she's not getting submitted. 2 losses in a row, 3 submission losses. 6-5 now in the UFC on a 2-fight losing streak. Again, losing to Erin Blanchfield, who just destroyed her, and losing to Juliana Stolarenko, who's 10-8 going into that fight last night. Brutal. And only beating Ji-Yoon Kim, Luana Carolina, and Hannah Goldie. Not very good competition. Losing to Talia Santos, Lara Fritzen. Not great competition. And again, losing to Jillian Robertson, who is a grapple expert. Loses to her too in the UFC, submitted. Kind of the things to show in the UFC. Kind of the things to show. So she's for surely on this list as well. Let me know if you guys agree. Let me know if you thought there should be somebody else on this card, on this video. Let me know what you guys think. As always, thank you for supporting. Peace.